Now we are going to solve the operating system question. Okay. Now yes, we will solve all the Opearationg operating system QUESTL question. Now we are going to solve what is an operating system. An operating system is a software that manages hardware, software resources, and provides services to the programs, process management, memory management, file system management, device management, security and access control type, batch OS, time sharing OS, distributed OS, network OS, real time OS. Difference between system software and application software. System software controls hardware and act as the platform for application software. OS driver application software designed for the designed for the end user platform from the task example word processor browser. Explain the word of kernel. The kernel is the core part of operating system, managing the system resources and enabling communication between hardware and the software. Roles include process scheduling, memory management, and device control. What are the main objective of an operating system? Efficiency in resource management, user convenience, security and protection, reliability and error handling. Describe the difference between objective of an operating system: efficiency in resource management, user convenience, security and protection, reliability and error handling. Describe the difference between multitasking, multiprocessing, and multi-threading. Multitasking, running the multiple processes simultaneously on one CPU. Multiprocessing, using a simple multiple CPU to execute the multiple processes. Multi-threading, running multiple thread of the single process concurrently. Now the process management also define a process new created but not executed, rating waiting to be assigned to the CPU, instruction to being executed, waiting for an event. Example IO, terminated, finished execution. What is process control? PCB, process ID, process stack, program counter, CPI register, a CPU register, memory management, IO status. Explain the difference between process and the thread. The independent execution unit, which with its own memory thread, a lightweight sub process sharing memory with other thread in the same process. What is process scheduling? Process scheduling allocate the CPU time to process. Primitive can interrupt the process of the round robin. Non-primitive, once it's started, the process runs to the completion. Explain the process scheduling. FCFS, first process in the queue get executed first. SJN, process with the shortest execution time is scheduled first. RR, each process get a fixed time slot. Time quantum, priority scheduling, high priority process are executed. Memory management ensure the optimal utilization of the memory. Allocated memory to the process and reallocated it after use. The difference between the physical and the logical memory: physical memory represents to the actual RAM in the system. Logical memory represents the virtual address space that application see. What is paging divide the memory into the fixed precise block. Page logical address are mapped to the physical memory using a page table. Describe the segmentation and how it differ from the paging. Segmentation divide the memory based on the logical unit. Code data like paging segment size are variable. What is virtual memory? Virtual memory use the disk space to extend RAM, allowing the larger program to run and improve the multitasking. What is the concept of the page fault and how it is handled? A page fault occur when the requested page is not in the memory. The OS fetches from the disk and update to the page table. What is file system? File creation and deletion, directory management, access control. Explain the different file allocation method. Continuous method, store file in the consecutive block. Link store file in a scattered block. Link via pointer. Indexed, use an index block to store the pointer into the file block. What is the difference between FAT and anti-FS file system? FAT simple, older and less secure. Anti-FS advanced, support larger file, better security. What is an OS? Ensure file security through permission, encryption, and user authentication. Deadlock occurs when the process cannot be processed due to the resource mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no precision, circular wait. How can deadlock be prevented, avoided, detected, or recovered? Prevention, remove condition, use algorithm like banker's algorithm, monitor and detect cycle, terminate process, explain the banker algorithm. The algorithm checks resources like allocation, request, against available resources to avoid deadlock. What is input output management? Input output management in an operating system ensure the efficiency data transfer. Blocking process with IO 0 operation. Non-blocking process continue execution while IO being performed. What is spooling? Spooling stores the IO job in a buffer can to be processed sequentially, improving efficiency. Synchronization ensures process for sharing resources without any conflict. Now the explain the concept of semaphore. Semaphore, a binary semaphore can lock one or unlock access to the resources. What is critical section code accessing a shared resources, mutual exclusion, for bounding process, bound and waiting. Now make more question. Make more question. Okay. What is the concept? What is the monolithic kernel? Now, EXPLAI and explain in the variety right answer of all of these. What is the monolithic kernel? Explain its feature and drawbacks also. Now we are going to read all of this. Answering the monolithic kernel. Now Now, the what is the monolithic kernel is a OS architecture where all the services are done. Monolithic kernel OS services are the device driver, file system management, and process management are the part of single large program running in the kernel mode. High performance due to the fewer context switches, direct communication between the component, drawbacks difficult to debug and maintain. A bug in one service can crash in an entire system. What is the concept of microkernel? How does it differ from the monolithic kernel answer? A monolithic is an OS architecture where only the essential service like IPC, inter-process communication, and the basic scheduling run in the kernel mode while other service run in the user mode also. Differences monokernel is a modular and more secure but slower due to the frequent user kernel transition. Monolithic kernel is faster but less secure and harder to maintain. What is the role of operating system in an distributed system? In a distributed system, the operating system manages the resources across the multiple system and make them appear as a single cohesive unit. Resource sharing manage access to the shared resources like file and devices. Communication provides a mechanism like RPCS and for the process communication. Fault tolerance detect and recover from the hardware or the software failure. What are the different types of operating system service provided to the application? Program execution, running and terminating the program. IO operation manage input output devices, also file system organizing the storing and retrieving the securing file enable process communication using the shared memory message, error detection, identifying and responding to the error, security, preventing unauthorized access. Why does what how does an OS handle interrupt? Explain the interrupt handling process. An interrupt is an signal to the CPU to stop it to current task and execute a specific piece of the code. Now process CPU saves the current state context, identify the interrupt source, example IO software, execute the relevant interrupt, saving routine IESR, restore the saved state and received. Okay, now continue. CONTINE, continue above. What is the answer concept? The difference between a process and a program. A program is a passive uh, uh, what is the process in the program? A process is a passive set of instructions stored on the disk, not excluding. A process is an active execution instance of the program loaded into the memory along with its resources like register, program counter, and the memory allocation. The difference between physical and the logical address in the memory management are the physical address is known as the actual location of the data in the memory RAM. Logical address means the address generated by the CPU during the program execution. Logical execution address can be translated to the physical address using the memory management IAM. What are the role of the system called the interface in an operating system? A system called the interface allows the user application to request OS services like file access, process control, or the memory management. Example of this system include read, write, fork. What is the concept of context switching? Context switching occurs when the CPU switches from excluding one process to another. It saves the current process and computer multiple running OS instance on the same hardware. The OS manage the PMS. Memory management and the storage. Memory management explain the concept of the fragmentation in the memory management and difference between the internal and the external fragmentation. Fragmentation occurs when fragmentation occurs when the memory is inefficiently used, leaving unusable free space. Internal fragmentation wasted space within the allocated memory block. External free memory is scattered, preventing the allocation in the large continuous. What is swapping? Swapping move the portions between RAM and disk storage, swap space for the free of memory. Other process it allow more process to execute by increasing the apparent available memory, but can slow down the performance due to the disk I/O. What is the page table? Or page table is the data structure that maps the logical address page to the physical memory frame. It enables the virtual memory by translating the virtual address to the physical address. What is the cache memory? Cache memory is the small high-speed memory located close to the CPU. It stores frequently accessed data and instruction, reducing access time compared to the main memory. What is the memory mapped I/O? How it is different from the port mapped I/O? Memory mapped I/O use the same address space for the both memory and I/O devices, enable direct data transfer. And the port mapped I/O use the separate address space for the I/O, requiring the special instruction for access. Explain the concept of thashing, what causes it, and how it can be prevented. Thashing occurs when the CPU spend more time on swapping in the page out of the memory than the executing process. Insufficient memory or overloading system with the process also. Prevention use working set, reduce the multiprogramming or increase the physical memory. What are the advantages of using the segmented paging system? Combines the benefit of segmentation and paging, reduce the fragmentation by dividing the segment into pages, provide a logical division segment while efficiently managing the physical memory pages. What is the body system in memory allocation? The body system divides the memory into the block of the size that powers to it. It pairs unused block bodies to form a larger block when needed, reducing the fragmentation. What is the concept of dynamic loading and how it helps in the managing the memory? Dynamic loading loads the part of program into the memory when needed, reducing the memory footprint. It improves the resource utilization by keeping unused part of the program on the disk. More. Now the fragmentation and the disks also. What is directory storage organized? What is the difference between the hard and soft link in the file system? Hard links create the another reference to the same file on the disk. Both links point to the same node. A soft link, symbolic link, point to the file or the directory by name and can also link file across the different file system, and it has its own node also. What is the file system? SS control memory to ensure the data. How does the file system implement SS control to ensure the data security? File system uses the permission right execute and you to control access to the file also. Now the SS control list, ACLS, user identification UID, and the group identification GID are used to define what are the inode and Unix based file system. Explain the structure also. Inode and the file type owner and the group information. What is the difference between the sequential and the direct file access method? Sequential data is accessed in the linear sequence, one record after another. Example, tape drive. Data can be read, write, written on any location in the file without having processing the data types and the SSDs. Explain the disk scheduling algorithm. FCFS, first come, first serve, process request in order they have received, simple but inefficient as it can lead to the a long wait time. A SSTF shortest seek time, first prioritize the request that are closest to the current head position, reduce the seek time, but can use the extraction for far away request to look similar SSTF, but the disk arm only moves as the far as the last position in the direction what is red. Explain the different level of the red and their advantage. The recognized array of independent disks. Now again we are going to read the most repeated question. Okay. Now let's see. Like hard disks as an extension of the main memory enable the system to run larger program than the available RAM or multiple program to run simultaneously. Mm, Provide isolation between process paging divide memory into the fixed size page demand paging load page into the memory and require different types of operating system batch processing operating system execute the batch of the jobs without user interaction. Early IBM system, time sharing operating system allow the multiple user to share the system resources. Unix real-time operating system response to the input in the real-time industrial control system, distributed control system embedded. What is tracing the condition where CPU spends more time in swapping page cause insufficient memory, poor page replacement algorithm, overloading system with too many processes. Increase physical memory, reduce the number of running processes, implement the hoarding or working sheet model to allocate the resources, explain the semaphore. Explain the different types of division of memory, mapping, purpose. Example: what is the distributed system? Explain its advantage. Resource sharing, like a printer storage scalability, can easily add more node reliability. Failure of node does not affect this entire system. Faster processing via the parallelism. Define the banker algorithm. Banker algorithm is the resources allocation and deadlock avoidance algorithm used in the operating system. Key concept: safe state and safe system can allocate the resources without emerging the deadlock. Unsafe state: future resources allocation may lead to the deadlock. A need max allocation: check if the resources are available to fulfill any process need. What are the types of file system? Fat file allocation, use example FAT32 USB drive. Advanced file system, example modern Windows system. Linux, example ext4 in modern Linux. Hierarchical file system used in Mac OS. Mac OS storage. Difference between the contagious and non-contagious memory location. Storage: allocate the block sequentially. Allocate the block in the free education. Fragmentation suffers from the external fragmentation, suffers from internal fragmentation. Flexibility: rigid and less efficient. Flexible and efficient. Fixed parties in the RAM. Paging in the segmentation. What is the shape, the current state of the CPU? Identify the source of interrupt also. Save the current time and CPU. Identify the source of interrupt. Execute the corresponding interrupt service. Restore the CPU and state and the resume. Resume execution. Hardware interrupt. Keyboard input. Software interrupt. Division by zero. Write a short note on the process sequence. Synchronization. Process synchronization in shape. The concurrent process do not interface with each other while accessing the shared resources. Mutex. Provide a mutual exclusion to the shared resources. Semaphore. control access to the resources, monitor high level synchronization, constant real condition, deadlock, starvation, explain the different scheduling algorithm requests are handled in order to they arrive anytime disadvantage, a simple SSTF shortest seek for time first, process of the nearest request first. Advantage reduce the seek time, disadvantage can cause intervention. Scan elevator algorithm move disks head into the one direction, fulfilling request, then reserve direction. C scan only process the request in one direction. What is buffering? Buffering is the process of storing data temporarily while it is being transferred between the device. Single buffering, use one buffer. Example, reading the data from the file. Double buffering, use the two buffer to allow the parallel processing. Graphics rendering, circular buffering, use the circular queue for continuous data flow.